So I quit telling people to get out of debt, paying off the highest interest rate first. I started teaching people what we started calling the debt snowball. And it's a real tough metaphor to grasp. You list your debts, smallest to largest. You pay minimum payments on everything but the little one. You attack the little one with a vengeance. Scorched earth lifestyle. Sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. Take 16 extra jobs. Name the dog eBay and put him there. Put the cat on Craigslist. We're getting out of debt. We're getting out of debt. And you pay everything. You stop all investing temporarily and completely focus all your emotional, spiritual, financial, relational energy on that smallest debt.
I need you to answer something honestly. How many times have you told yourself that next month will be different? Next month, you'll finally start that debt snowball. Next month, you'll stop using the credit cards. Next month, you'll get your financial life together. Meanwhile, the millionaires you see on social media, the ones living the life you want, they're following one simple debt rule that you've probably heard 1,000 times but never truly understood. And here's what's worse. Every month you delay, you're not just staying in the same place, you're actually falling further behind. Because while you're making minimum payments, inflation is eating your purchasing power, interest is compounding against you, and the wealthy are using that same time to multiply their assets. The gap isn't just staying the same, it's widening. Every single day. Here's what kills me. We've been programmed by banks, credit card companies, and even our own families to believe that debt is just part of life. That it's normal to have a car payment forever. That student loans are good debt. That a mortgage you can barely afford means you've made it. They've sold us this lie so well that 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, stressed about money every single day, while the system gets richer off our monthly payments. Think about this for a second. The average American pays over $279,000 in interest over their lifetime. That's $250,000 that could have been in your investment account, building generational wealth for your kids. Instead, it went to make bank executives richer. They're literally using your stress, your overtime hours, your life energy to fund their yacht purchases. And we've been taught to say thank you for the privilege. But here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Dave Ramsey's #1 debt rule isn't just about math. It's not about interest rates or payment strategies. It's about something far more powerful that separates those who build wealth from those who stay broke their entire lives. It's about a fundamental mindset shift that literally rewires how you see money, value, and freedom. And once you understand this rule at its core, really understand it, not just hear it, you'll realize why millionaires treat this principle like a religion, while everyone else treats it like a suggestion. Today, I'm showing you exactly how this one debt rule works, why millionaires follow it with zero exceptions, and most importantly, how you can implement it starting today, even if you're drowning in debt right now. You'll see real examples of regular people who use this rule to go from negative net worth to millionaire status. I'll show you the exact steps they took, the sacrifices they made, and the massive rewards they're now reaping. But let me be clear, if you're looking for magic pills or get-rich-quick schemes, leave now. If you want someone to tell you that your debt is society's fault and you're a victim, this isn't for you. If you're more interested in looking rich than being rich, click away. If you're more interested in looking rich, click away. This is for people ready to take radical responsibility for their financial future. This is for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Still here. Good. That tells me something about you. You're ready for change. Real change. Let's dive in. The core rule. The rule is brutally simple. Millionaires refuse to owe anyone anything, ever. No credit cards, no car loans, no payment plans, nothing. They live by the principle that if you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Period. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is impossible in today's world, stick with me. Because I'm about to show you exactly how regular people making less than you, have implemented this and changed their entire financial trajectory. Think about debt like this. Imagine you're trying to fill a swimming pool, but there's a massive drain at the bottom that's always open. No matter how much water you pour in, that drain keeps sucking it out. You can increase the water pressure all you want, get a bigger hose, work overtime to pay for more water, but until you plug that drain, you'll never fill the pool. That drain is your debt. Every payment you make to someone else is money that could have been building your wealth, but instead, it's building theirs. And here's the kicker. The drain gets bigger over time through compound interest, while your ability to earn typically plateaus. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was a delivery driver making $45,000 a year. Not a bad income, but not great either. He had what everyone told him was normal debt, a $25,000 car loan because he needed reliable transportation for work, $8,000 in credit cards from furnishing his apartment and some emergencies, $15,000 in student loans from a degree he never finished. His minimum payments were eating up 40% of his take-home pay. Marcus felt like he was drowning, working 60 hours a week just to stay afloat. But here's what Marcus realized that changed everything. He did the math. At his current rate, he would pay over $67,000 for that $25,000 car. The credit cards would cost him $19,000 to pay off that $8,000 balance. He was literally working half his life to make other people wealthy. When that reality hit him, Marcus got angry. Not sad, not depressed, but righteously angry. And that anger became his fuel. Then Marcus heard this rule and something clicked. He sold the car, bought a $4,000 Honda Civic with cash after saving for 3 months. His coworkers laughed. His family said he was crazy. His girlfriend was embarrassed to be seen in it. But Marcus didn't care. He took every dollar that used to go to that car payment, $587 a month, and attacked the credit cards. Gone in 6 months? Then the student loans. Gone in another year. But here's where it gets interesting. Once Marcus had 0 payments, his entire mindset shifted. Suddenly, his $45,000 felt like $70,000. He had options. He started a side hustle doing delivery on his own terms. Within 2 years, he'd saved enough to buy a second delivery vehicle, cash. He hired a driver, then another. Fast forward 5 years, and Marcus owns a small delivery fleet of his own, has $200,000 in investments, and hasn't owed anyone a penny in 4 years. The difference? He stopped feeding other people's wealth and started building his own. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. When you owe money, you're a slave to whoever you owe. You can't quit the job you hate. You can't take risks. You can't say no to overtime. You can't say no to overtime. You can't invest in that opportunity. You're owned. And the worst part, you signed up for it voluntarily. The credit score deception. But I know the question that's screaming in your head right now. But what about my credit score? Don't I need a good credit score to survive? To buy a house? To rent an apartment? This is the master trap. This is the invisible chain the system uses to keep you enslaved, even when you think you're getting ahead. Let's be brutally clear about what a credit score actually is. Your FICO score is not a measure of how good you are with money. It is not an I'm winning score. It is an I love debt score. It is a measurement of how profitable you are to a lender. A high credit score simply means you are an absolute master at borrowing money and paying it back over a long period of time, making banks and credit card companies filthy rich in the process. You're a 5-star customer in a system designed to keep you a customer in a system designed to keep you a customer for life. Think about the components of your credit score for a second. Payment history, amounts owed, length of credit history, credit mix, new credit. Every single factor is about debt. Not one factor measures your savings. Not one measures your investments. Not one measures your actual net worth. You could have $1 million in the bank and a credit score of 0. You could be broke with massive payments and have an 800 score. Which person is actually wealthy? A credit score is like a VIP loyalty card for a casino. The more you play their games, taking on loans, swiping the cards, paying interest, the more points they give you. You feel important, you get better offers, you feel like you're gaming the system. But you have to remember one fundamental truth. The entire time, the house is designed to win. Millionaires don't have high scores because they're not in the casino. They cashed in their chips and walked out the door years ago. Let me tell you about Brian. Brian was obsessed with his 810 credit score. He treated it like a high score in a video game. He had 5 different credit cards that he'd juggle for the points. He even kept a small car payment on a car he could have paid off because a blogger told him it was good for his credit mix. He would spend hours researching the best cards for travel rewards, cashback optimization, churning strategies. On paper, he was a financial wizard. Then, his wife had a medical emergency. They needed $5,000 for a deductible, and they needed it in cash by Friday. And Brian, the man with the 810 credit score, didn't have it. Every dollar was tied up in payments for the very things that gave him his score. In a moment of sheer panic and shame, he realized the truth. His FICO score couldn't pay the hospital. His credit card points couldn't comfort his wife. Only cash could. Points couldn't comfort his wife. Only cash could. His perfect score was a worthless monument to a life of payments. Meanwhile, his neighbor Tom, who everyone thought was broke because he drove a 10-year-old truck and never talked about credit card rewards, wrote a check for $10,000 when his son needed emergency surgery. No stress, no applications, no waiting for approval, just handled. Tom's credit score. He didn't even know and didn't care. His net worth, $700,000 and growing. Stop trying to get a high score in a game that's rigged against you and start building a high score in the only account that actually matters. Your own. The psychology of payments. Here's something the debt industry understands that you probably don't. Monthly payments are psychological warfare. They're specifically designed to make expensive things feel affordable. That $50,000 truck doesn't feel like $50,000 when it's just $647 a month. That $2,000 TV is only $83 a month. Your brain literally cannot process the true cost when it's broken into payments. There's actually a term for this in behavioral economics. It's called payment depreciation. Your brain assigns less weight to future payments than current ones, so that payment 3 years from now feels like it basically doesn't exist. The industry knows this. They've spent billions researching exactly how to exploit this mental weakness. Let me share what happened to Jennifer. Jennifer was a teacher making $52,000 a year. She was the payment queen. Everything in her life was a monthly payment. Her furniture, 12 monthly payments. Her phone, 24 monthly payments. Her car, 72 monthly payments. Her vacation, 18 monthly payments on a credit card. She even had her gym membership on a 3-year contract to save $20 a month. Jennifer thought she was smart. She thought she was managing her cash flow. But when she actually added up all her payments, she nearly threw up. $2,300 a month. Over half her take-home pay was already spoken for before she even bought groceries. She was working the first 3 weeks of every month just to pay for decisions she'd already made. Here's what Jennifer did that changed everything. She listed every single payment on a whiteboard in her kitchen. Every debt, every subscription, every contract. Then she asked herself one question for each one. If I had to pay for this in full, right now, in cash, would I buy it? The answer was no for 90% of them. That realization hit her like a truck. She'd been tricked into buying a life she couldn't actually afford. Jennifer went on a payment elimination rampage. She sold the furniture and bought used, paid the early termination fee on the gym, sold the car, and bought a $5,000 Corolla. Within 8 months, her monthly obligations went from $2,300 to $400, just utilities and insurance. The freedom she felt was indescribable. She said it was like taking off a backpack filled with rocks she'd been carrying for years. The compound effect of no payments. Here's what nobody tells you about living without payments. The benefits compound in ways you can't even imagine. It's not just about the money you save on interest. It's about the opportunities you can take, the risks you can afford, the peace you can feel. When you have no payments, your emergency fund lasts longer. A 6-month emergency fund becomes a 12-month fund because your monthly expenses are so low. When you have no payments, you can take the job you love instead of the job that pays the most. You can start that business. You can invest aggressively. You can invest aggressively. You can invest aggressively. Let me tell you about David and Sarah. They were a couple making a combined $90,000 a year. Decent money, but they were payment people. Between 2 car loans, student loans, and credit cards, they had $3,100 in monthly payments. They couldn't figure out why they couldn't get ahead despite making good money. They decided to follow the rule. It took them 3 years of intense sacrifice. They sold both cars and shared one $8,000 minivan. They moved in with Sarah's parents for a year, which was humiliating but necessary. They worked every side job available: pizza delivery, Uber, selling plasma, you name it. Their friends thought they'd lost their minds. But here's what happened next. Once they had 0 payments, their $90,000 felt like $150,000. They saved 40% of their income without even trying. Within 2 years, they had a $100,000 down payment for a house. But here's the kicker. They didn't buy a house. They bought a duplex, lived in one side, rented the other. The rental income covered most of their housing cost. Fast forward 5 more years. David and Sarah now own 4 rental properties, all paid for in cash. Their passive income exceeds their living expenses. They're financially independent at age 38, not because they made millions, but because they refused to have payments. Their friends who laughed at them, still making payments on cars worth half what they paid, still stressed about money, still thinking David and Sarah got lucky? The mortgage question. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, but what about a house? Surely you need a mortgage. Nobody can buy a house with cash. This is where we separate the committed from the curious. Yes, most millionaires have had a mortgage at some point, but here's the difference. They treat it like a mortal enemy that must be destroyed, not a 30-year companion. The average American pays for their house twice, once for the price, once for the interest. A $300,000 house at 4% for 30 years costs you $515,000. You literally work an extra 15 years of your life just to pay the bank. Millionaires refuse to accept this. Here's what they do instead. First, they buy way less house than the bank says they can afford. The bank says you can afford 35% of your income. They buy at 15%. Second, they attack that mortgage like their life depends on it. Every bonus, every tax refund, every side hustle dollar goes toward principal. They live like they're broke while they're paying it off. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike was an electrician making $70,000 a year. The bank said he could afford a $400,000 house. Mike bought a $160,000 fixer-upper instead. His coworkers mocked him. His realtor tried to talk him out of it. His own mother was disappointed. Mike took out a 15-year mortgage, not 30. His payment was $900. But here's what Mike did that was genius. He lived like his payment was $2,500. Every month, he threw an extra $1,600 at the principal. He worked weekends, took every overtime shift, and treated that mortgage like it had kidnapped his family. Mike paid off his house in 4 years and 7 months. Total interest paid. $18,000 instead of the $70,000 it would have been on a 15-year, or the $215,000 on a 30-year. By age 32, Mike owned his house free and clear. His coworkers still had 25 years of payments left on houses that were already needing major repairs. But here's where it gets really interesting. With no mortgage payment, Mike was saving $3,000 a month without changing his lifestyle. Within 2 years, he bought a rental property cash, then another. By age 40, Mike had 5 paid-for properties generating $8,000 a month in rental income. He retired at 42. His coworkers, still making payments, still working, still thinking Mike must have won the lottery. So there it is, everything I've just shown you. The number one rule that millionaires follow religiously. They refuse to owe anyone anything, period. They understand that their income is a tool for building their wealth, not someone else's. We exposed the credit score for what it really is. A loyalty score for a rigged game you should have never been playing. We revealed how monthly payments are psychological weapons designed to make you buy things you can't afford. We showed you real people, Marcus, Jennifer, Brian, David, and Sarah Mike, who broke free from the payment prison and built real wealth. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't just about money. This is about your life. Every payment you make is time you're trading. Time you can't get back. Time away from your kids. Time doing work you hate. Time being stressed instead of present. Time being owned instead of free. Listen to me. This isn't about deprivation. This is about freedom. The people who follow this rule don't do it because they're smarter than you. They're not special. They don't have advantages you don't have. They do it because they value their freedom more than they value looking rich. They've made a decision that they would rather have peace than payments. They'd rather have options than obligations. They would rather sleep peacefully at night than impress people at stoplights. That freedom is not reserved for the rich. It's not about your income level. I've shown you people making $45,000 who became millionaires, and people making $200,000 who are broke. The difference isn't the income. It's the decision. The decision to stop playing by rules designed to keep you enslaved. The decision to say enough is enough. The decision to choose freedom over stuff. So let's take one step. Not a theory, not something you'll think about. A real physical action right now. When this video is over, I want you to go into your wallet or your purse. I want you to take out the credit card that has the smallest balance on it. Look at it. Really look at it. Think about the stress it's caused. Think about the interest you've paid. Think about the times you've lost sleep over that balance. Think about the arguments it's caused, the opportunities you've missed because that payment had to come first. Now, go to your kitchen, grab a pair of scissors, and cut it into 4 pieces. Feel the resistance. That's the system fighting to keep you. Cut through it anyway. That's it. It's a small act of defiance. It's you telling the system that you are no longer a willing player in their game. It's you saying that your freedom is worth more than their rewards points. It's you choosing your future family's wealth over some bank CEO's bonus. And here's my challenge to you. After you cut up that card, take a picture of the pieces. Share it. Tell someone what you just did. Not for internet points, but for accountability. Because the moment you declare your independence publicly, you've made it real. You've drawn a line in the sand. You've chosen a side. The side of freedom. Your future self is watching you right now. The you 5 years from now is either going to thank you for the decision you're about to make or curse you for the opportunity you let pass. The choice is yours. Your freedom is waiting for you. It's been waiting your whole life. Go take it, right now. The scissors are in your kitchen. Your freedom is 4 cuts away. Stop being profitable to the system. Start being profitable to yourself. Your millionaire journey starts with those 4 cuts. Make them count.